everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to this episode of Getting Unstuck.
Getting Unstuck is a conversational series that the founders of the Weeds Match launched to open and deepen dialogue between Black women entrepreneurs and investors.
This is a conversational space of truth-telling about where investors and entrepreneurs get unstuck
when it comes to scaling Black women businesses.
Black women are high-performing, badass
business innovators who are not reaching revenue potential in the marketplace because of underinvestment
and limited places to get trusted advice about what to do to scale.
Our role at the Weeds Match is to create an online and offline community that is 100% dedicated to the business growth and personal well-being of Black women entrepreneurs. Full stop.
Full stop.
Full stop.
Through this Getting Unstuck series, we aim to have some real talk
that leads to more investments and revenues. With that said, let's get started.
Let's get started.
Hey, y'all. All right. It is January 2021. So one of the things that's really clear about January 2021, that at the end of 2020, the party ain't over. And we have reached this moment where we really are going to either show up and effect change systems, change policies, change practices, and move out of this rhetoric or not. So we wanted to come together and have a quick conversation in our Getting Unstuck series to talk about where these opportunities are. Here we are in this month that we are continuing our work to building out these new ecosystems and how there are opportunities for us and what January 2021 has already shown us, what we already know, and what's going to change moving forward. So I'll just kick us off by saying that, one of the things that's really resonating with me this year, even from the jump, even before the insurrection, right? Like that insurrection was no surprise in the sense of like, oh my God, I can't believe people believe that, because we already know half of the voting population was already on that front, right? And we already know who our ex-45 was and where his values sit. So that part wasn't part of the surprise. But what came up for me was like, oh, just in case we were not clear that we're still on our journey of transformation, let's just show up by the sixth day, show that we are still on this transformation. But at the top of the year, one of the things that I was holding is that 2021 is the 100th centennial of the Tulsa riot and the taking of the Black wealth and Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921. And so for our work and our undying commitment to build a platform that's dedicated to the scale and wealth of Black women entrepreneurs, it was already a seminal year for me. But I'm holding right now that for this conversation of like getting unstuck, one of the things that I want us to get unstuck on is this rhetoric of reconciliation without actual change, without actual investment. So what do y'all think? What are you holding? Here we are as this in January 2021, where we are facilitating change and getting unstuck. What's coming up for you of stuckness that we want to bring into this conversation and to hold ourselves and others accountable for facilitating change?
As it relates to getting unstuck and facilitating change, for me, it always comes back to systems. And it's always like, this is the system reinforces the system. And, capital reinforces capital. And what we are seeing here is, for lack of a better word, white supremacy continuing to reinforce white supremacy. And for folks of color, that's no surprise. And so the left being kind of shocked and what are we going to do about it versus how do I not just sit back and eat my popcorn, but where am I leaning in and doing something about it? And so for me, where we lean in to really support Black women entrepreneurs as a lever for change is just critical work. So it's like, put our head down and let's keep doing the work. And so I really want to talk about what we started at the end of the year and what we're trying to lean into this year to really continue to elevate the ecosystem that we're trying to engage in to support Black women entrepreneurs and create new jobs and to add billions of dollars in annual revenue that are driven by Black women entrepreneurs and their businesses. So I'll pause there, but the work is the work we still have to do, and we'll keep doing it.
I think this moment reminds, it's not even a reminder as much as it is, once again, white supremacy, it's doing its thing. And we're going to let the people who need to take care of it take care of it. And we're going to keep moving forward. I think it compounds the fact that how we get unstuck is to keep moving and to keep building.
Yeah.
We have to be building the America we want without permission, unapologetically, moving towards rebuilding in each sector of our world, our new rebuilding our new Black Wall Street, because this moment is not going to be the last time, and it's certainly not the first time that it shows up. But I think what is maybe a hint, slightly interesting, is sort of the way social media has made it. You can't, as white Americans, as any kind of Americans, close your eyes to how white supremacy shows up when we want to create justice around anything for anybody else in this country. Yeah. And so it's not even a matter of if it's new. I think we can just go ahead and turn the page on it. For us, we have to move towards how we get unstuck. And how we get unstuck is to be unwavering, to make sure that we are building what we want to see come out of this. And so I appreciate that capital backs capital, right? And so we, as the we's, have to continue forward in our movement, because we knew that this moment is just an extended moment. It's just a new kernel in the popcorn box that's popped open, but it's the same popcorn in the same box, right? So as we built the we's, we knew that how we build beyond this moment into something new is to keep building. And so we need to keep moving towards how do we back each other in various fronts. And in particularly for us, we are talking about capital, health, wellness, and community and networking, and how we use us together as a solid whole, holding those pillars to keep getting unstuck, and let the thems of the thems deal with this crazy sticky ass mess.
Well, one of the things that's coming up for me and what you're saying is very Toni Morrison, right? Like, it's like, you know what? We're not building with you as the gaze. This is not about the gaze of the existing ecosystem. It's very much about, we are so clear and unapologetic about Black women entrepreneurs, right? And so when we're holding that clarity that this is for us, by us, and that the understanding that the for us, by us, where we exert our energies, where we exert our innovations, where we exert our unicornness, as I read in some recent article about BC's now having a moment of where Black women entrepreneurs are the unicorns. No, we've always been part of the inspiration and active in the engineering and creativity of business ideas. But the translation of that hasn't shown up in our asset collection, but that is changing. What specifically the we's will continue to do in our Getting Unstuck is the staying focused on Black women entrepreneurs, the staying focused on building out an ecosystem dedicated to Black women entrepreneurs thriving. So what does that mean? How? We need to focus on how we level up our businesses, how we level up our business sensitivities, how we activate folks who are committed to us leveling up our revenues, right? And so we need our revenues to grow. We need our business strategies to scale. We need to focus on that. And I am grateful for the investment communities that are stepping up, that are at 0.0006% that was documented as what was being allocated in investments to Black women enterprises. Continue to capitalize us, but where we're focusing on is how our businesses actually thrive. What is the marketability? What are the business strategies so that the revenues that we yield continue to, one, attract growth investment, but also the business itself is thriving. And that's one area where we are, the work that we're doing and building the We's, because we're still building it and it's going to be actively building. But part of the auditing that we have on the site, the matching, that's why it's called the We's match, to match you exactly with what you need, whether it's capital or expertise or amplification, to level up your business, to get to where you need it to do towards your goals so that we can actually grow and hit that $500 billion revenue that June referenced earlier, which is a part of our Ignite pledge.
Every time we speak, I get so excited about the work that we're doing. And, I'm reminded back to a conversation we were having internally a while back about, starting a business and like thinking kind of small, thinking, oh, I'm just going to start this business because, I'm just trying to bring in income, for my child, or I'm just trying to augment my income. And what we're, and in our conversation and the learning that we've been doing is, how do we lean into something greater? How are we leaning into a vision that's not just income for ourselves or income for my household, but generational wealth? How do we begin as we start imagining, envisioning, and structuring the work that we want to do in the world, more than just a job, more than just providing income, but the work that we want to do in the world, and begin to envision it in its wholeness, in its greatness, and then leverage each other as a network to get there. I mean, and that's the beauty of even our pilot that we launched when we went to San Miguel de Allende in Mexico, like that 6-person, 8-person cohort, to really be a thought partnership for each other, to really like, yeah, you can do this. And these are the ways we can help connect you to who we know, like, how organizing happened in Georgia. I mean, like, we know how to organize. And how do we leverage our strength and organizing to get to a new future for us?
Yeah, I mean, that's effectively what we're doing. We're organizing, right? We're utilizing our what's in our DNA on how we innovate around business strategies. We are anchoring that with a long-term plan. So in the next 10 years, what's happening today, or what started in 2020, in this transformational decade from 2020 to 2030, this is the decade for Black women entrepreneurs as far as we are concerned. And that it is going to level up and see, we believe our philosophy is that if you focus on the Black woman entrepreneur, her business will thrive. And when her business thrives, her community thrives. And so we're very clear of where the theory of change in focusing on the wellness and resourcefulness and resourcing and centering of Black women entrepreneurs moves us out of the theory and rhetoric of what's happening and what's not going on. And us being clear that it's not just capital in the sense of who's investing in our businesses. Yes, keep that. And we absolutely have you. You're We Catalyst as a part of our ecosystem. That is absolutely necessary. But we also have to up the strategies for these businesses to thrive and be competitive in the marketplace. And continue to advance the innovative ideas that Black women hold. And that's what the We's Match platform is all about. So what are I would say, as we think about, those who are listening, like, yeah, I'm down with that. Often I found when I stroll in social media, folks asking, well, I want to help. I want to be a part of this change. I don't know exactly what to do. What can I do? What should I be doing? If I want to invest in the three of you, as entrepreneur founders of this platform, building out this technology, aggregating this system. What could I do? So I'll kick off on some of the things that you can do. You can definitely go to our website and connect to our Ignite campaign. And so in this recording, you'll see exactly where to go on the website, and we'll have a list of ways in which you can support. Support can show up financially, whether it's an investment, whether it's a gift, whether it's a donation. We have various different portals in which we can accept and allocate support pursuant to the intent. And then there's also participation in the information gathering that we are doing for We Makers and We Catalysts and We Amplifiers. So you'll see that there as well as those of you who are connected to or a part of journalism and media, pushing out our story, pushing out and interviewing us. Those are some very specific ways in which you can be a part of what Lynette referenced earlier, this movement. And the movement for me is the movement to build the fertile environment for Black women entrepreneurs to thrive.
Yeah, I'm all there. I'm down with that. I mean, so when we talk about, I mean, because we know we're part of multiple movements. And so I appreciate you, Lisa, really naming the movement that the WE's is really about and for. And that is Black women entrepreneurs thriving. And there's multiple ways that we engage in sort of the larger movement building. Each of us have our other work that we do in addition to this. And for me, as it relates to capital building and wealth building, it is a critical part to have both political power and economic power. Yes. And so doing this work, it's like, we can't wait, and we can't wait for someone else to give it to us. I want folks to meet us and help us get there, but we're going to do this and figure it out and leverage each other's each of what we have to bring to move this forward. So this is the invitation to get more partners and partnerships with us moving this effort, and really understanding and linking and being leverage partners for those who are also doing this work. This isn't about us doing it alone. We are holding a component, and we know others are also holding a component, and it is time that we all work together. This is the now moment. This is the moment to build, sort of the next iteration of Tulsa that can stand, that cannot be broken, that cannot be destroyed. And that's what we're about.
I think and Q soundtrack, I wanted to hear With or Without You right in the background. But I think if you want to change this hot ass mess of this long moment, maybe 400 years long moment, I think you put your money where your mouth and your emotions are. And change in capitalism is where you put your capital. So I think that really, it becomes all of those things that Lisa said to do, but it's, don't just be emotional, don't just be angry, be active.
Yeah.
Right? And change in capitalism is where you put your capital. If you want it to look different, you have to invest differently, emotionally, spiritually, and certainly financially.
Oh, go ahead, June.
Sorry, I was as you were speaking, I was reminded of the meeting that we had here in my home with some potential investors around sort of the system that is set up that allows folks to easily invest in those who we've always invested in. It was described as, the wake is created. Folks know how to
wake
and where to put that investment.
Yeah.
It's the wake. And now we are needing to create a new wake. And I was just, as I was listening to you, Lynette, I was thinking about that moment, because again, in the moment of systems and system structure, there is a system set up that makes it easy. It is time to build a new system and a different kind of wake, so that money flows in a way that benefits the whole versus the few.
Yeah. You know, the thing that, one of the things that came to me as you both were talking, as a potential additional component and totally aligned with our ecosystem, is I think about like, even if you're not a direct investor, but you are like Roz Brewer, who is a masterful businesswoman in businesses of scale, doing a masterclass that's exclusive to Black women entrepreneurs. Right? So if we do a masterclass series of Black women who have excelled in their various industries, that's a we match thing. That's a we maker to a we catalyst to a we amplifier thing. That's the kind of stuff that we're going to be doing. And now I'm thinking about, I'm like, so Roz Brewer and those of you others who are out there, we are really going to be reaching out to you, because that's another way that you can support. Like literally, how do we level up our businesses and take the learnings that you have from your business experience with these big corporations and these big brands to see what are the transferable strategies that could be adjusted for our businesses, that are relevant to our businesses, that aligns with our varying values and how we want to grow. But that's absolutely some masterclasses from masters in business that are Black women who have been doing business is something that I think we should consider and pursue. What y'all think?
Totally. I'm right there with you. Like that and that and more of that.
Cool.
Word.
Well, I mean, that's all I really wanted to talk about today. Is there anything else y'all wanted to talk about in this episode of Getting Unstuck?
No, I think that was a pretty big bat to swing.
I think we covered it, at least for the moment. There'll be more. We will keep covering it, but this is the good moment.
That's right. Well, it's a great way to wrap up this January 2021. To be continued. We are heads down. We are melanin up. We are doing our unapologetic thing, focused on Black women entrepreneurs, building out an ecosystem and environment for Black women entrepreneurs to thrive. So stay connected with us. Go to the site, follow the link that's a part of this video, and we look forward to seeing you in our ecosystem. Bye.